All right, what's going on? So I just did it was like 6 minutes of me trying to fix my Sonos. I thought it was gonna be like 2 minutes, and um, I actually fixed it finally. It's been broken forever. But I was literally just like, intros, and I was just like do random stuff. Um, but yeah, that shit went on for like 6 or 7 minutes of me like trying to fix this thing. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm probably just gonna delete this and restart. All right, hold up. Let's do this. Test, 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 test. Test, test. Is it clear? Is it clear? It sounds so astrology, awesome, yeah, blah blah blah. Okay, and this thing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I kind of want to just like meditate. There's the yeah, everything is hidden. Let me show you. Let me send you. Let me send you William. Before I forget. Okay, there you are. Okay. Share screen. Okay, cool. Vamos, vamos, vamos. All right, so Mr. Christian, um, Mr. DJ. So what do we have here? Well, this is a very Virgo family. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So Christian is a Virgo rising, Virgo Venus, and a Leo with a Sag moon like me. He's got the Sag moon conjunct Pluto and Chiron. Damn. And he's got a way. So is he the older? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even know that, but I'm so freaking smart. Joking. No, I just had a feeling. A lot of times the older siblings have. Eh, actually, I don't know. I don't have any rational reason for why I thought that, because I'm the older sibling and I have way less aspects than my brother. But I don't know. I just got the sense that he would have more hard aspects, which he does. Doesn't mean his chart's worse. Doesn't mean it's good or bad in astrology. Anyways, so well, first things first. Leo sun. Well, actually, so both of them have Sun, Mars. Um, we could call it a conjunction. I mean, it's not a conjunction, but I mean, it's like, 11 and a half degrees away, which is a little bit far, but both have that in common, right? A lot of times with the family astrology, you see trends. So, that like for example, they both have the sun opposite Uranus. I mean, they're born 4 years apart, so the odds of that are so low. Like the mathematical odds, it's not, nothing is random in astrology, right? So, obviously it was meant to be for them to both have this sun opposite Pluto energy, or a sun opposite Uranus energy. Um, the way so I'm probably gonna like have like a different vibe in this reading than I did in the first one. Um, because that's just how I am. The way I'm thinking about this now, right, is, you know, I think of whatever, and Jen, we're good friends. So I know some of your story, but I have this ability to kind of try to somehow forget as much as I can, and like just try to like when my mind goes to that place of remembering, just trying my best to minimize that. But like I think that whatever happens in their upbringing, they they're not normal. Like they're not, like, neither of them are normal, right? Neither of them are normal kids. And I mean that in the best way possible, of course. And a lot of times, like for example, when the moon, right? So when the moon in astrology is opposite Uranus, and it's like, in a family reading, or like, like it's like prominent all over the family astrology, oftentimes it speaks of a divorce, right? It speaks of the idea of the roots, right? Like never really fully being able to establish the roots, right? Hold on one second. Sorry, it's been long about this freaking flight bullshit. Sorry. One sec. Okay. Sorry, it's coordinating something very important. Some security type stuff, if you know what I mean. Not trying to get hacked. Okay, good. So yeah, anyways, as we were. So yeah, like the chart itself is very interesting. But I just want to like be very, very basic. That Christian is, he's a Sag moon, but he's a Sag Pluto moon. So, I'm a Sag moon as well, and it's my favorite moon sign, not just because it's mine. I just love it. I love Sag moons. And there's this with every Sag moon, there's this real like joie de vivre, like and I am French, so sorry, you know, I speak French like a French person. Um, but yeah, like Sag Moon people, it's so optimistic, it's so glass half full. Um, Under stress, they like to, they need to experience the world in different cultures, or they get very, very I don't want to call it FOMO, but it really is a deep sadness for Sag moons, when we don't get to travel. Um, Now, when I say travel, I mean traveling physically or traveling metaphorically, right? There's two different, in both, for both, right? Um, so traveling, obviously, Sag moons, you get out, you see the world for what it is, your worldview expands. Um, you realize there's a lot more than where you're from, blah blah blah. But also, it's really it's a lot about wisdom, right? Um, Everything in astrology has a shadow. So every single aspect of this chart, I don't know if Christian's watching this or if it's just you, Jen, um, or both, but everything in this chart has a high manifestation and a low manifestation. So with the Sag, you have to add the fact that Pluto is a very, very emotionally intense conjunction with the moon and Sag. And one of my best friends has this. So she has you know, this real fun kind of living life. Like Sag moon, they live life the fullest, right? They're all about the adventure. They're all about learning, and they're very good at not at a high vibe, they're very, very good at not caring what other people think, right? At a low vibe, Sag moon is dogmatic, and they are overly blunt. And it's almost like they've spent so much time, so much energy, finding what their philosophies are, that no one else is worthy of debate with them, right? That's like the kind of shadow of Sag. Also, another shadow of Sag moon is doing too much, right? Over expansion. Is that the right word? Over expansion. Over expansion. Yeah, being overly expansive, right? Like taking too big of risks. Um, forgetting to leap before you jump. That's the right saying. I haven't spoken English in a while, so excuse me. That's not true, but yeah. Um, so yeah, the best way you can be a Sag is to understand that, like, yes, when they're I think a lot of Sag moons, they can feel a level of stress um in this society where it's not very traditional. Um, it wants to just live life. It wants to get the most out of life, right? And sometimes Sag can be a little bit like grass is greener on the other side, right? Now, when we add, and it's a fire sign, right? So a fire moon means that you have, on an unconscious level, you have this need to keep going, right? You want to grow, you want to learn, right? It's about wisdom. Um, it's about a lot of things, and very international though. A lot of Sag moons, they, myself included, like, are obsessed with geography, right? You know, and they will do whatever they have to do. Like, I live in Romania. I've been to a lot of different countries, right? And that's been my priority most of my life. I mean, okay, that's not true. Partying was a priority. um, and astrology has been lately. Um, but yeah, you know what I mean. Um, so it's just good to know, right? Because when mainstream society tells us, oh, do this, do that, conservative, blah blah blah, or not like politically conservative, like like the easy route, do this, do that, that might really, really, really be the opposite of what a Sagittarian wants. So the good news is, well, actually, let's talk about Pluto. So it's not a normal Sag moon, or like a typical Sag moon, because of the connection with Pluto. Now, so Pluto here on the moon basically gives this element of crises, of potential crises. Um, so and then Chiron there as well brings emotional pain, right? So there's a lot that you have to overcome in your life. Um, but the best part about this Pluto moon is that there's going to be opportunities, right? Different, very synchronistic situations where your choice is either to let go and to just allow, whether you call it God, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it some random shit that's just happening. Um, your choice is whether you want to let that go, surrender, let it happen, accept change into your life, allow yourself to go through what's called death, rebirth, transformation, right? Which is a term that I'm over over saying, but the essence of it is that there's a lot of people in this world who just stay the same forever. But when you have this, you are in your life, you're meant to go through massive eras that are so differentiated one from the other that it can be difficult for you to truly um understand, like, to truly look at yourself. It can be difficult for you to like it can be a trip actually to look at yourself at different eras, um because it can feel like it was an actor playing you. Like, that's how far, you know how big the difference is. I know everyone goes through changes, but yeah, that's a bigger one. um so Chiron, you had Chiron there. Chiron is about spirit, it's about pain, right? So actually, yeah, so Chiron is here. It's at 11, and it was at 10, and the moon's at pretty much 5. So yeah, Chiron on the moon, and interestingly, hmm, hmm, I didn't finish that thing. This is uh yeah, this is a classic of me. I didn't finish that Sun Uranus. I always come back around. I get distracted sometimes. Um, this is very interesting because there's so many hard aspects of the moon, not many for the sun, and oftentimes the sun is the father. But in modern times, a lot, often the mother is the more dominant masculine parent, right? So, hmm, although, yeah, it's actually, there's quite a few really good ones. Who knows? But yeah, okay. So, um, I think more of the moon is like the early, upbringing and kind of like the feminine nature. I look at it more psychologically. So, Chiron, moon, usually there's like someone who's suffered from some type of rejection from a parental figure. A lot of times it's the mother because it's the moon, but I don't think that, that's the case. And yeah, um, it's really like the lesson is to learn to nurture yourself and be there for yourself. um and because it's in Sag, it could have been the case that you could have been shut down for your belief systems early on. um Kind of the way you saw the world, perhaps. So yeah, but it definitely creates someone Chiron Sag who just wants to, yeah, really, 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 find that higher meaning you know, and they go too far. And this is for both of your kids, Jen. Both of them have like this ninth house Sagittarius energy, right? So I could see both being international. Um, yeah. So one thing about Chiron, so it's Chiron. So all this is in the fourth. So a lot of times, yeah, there is that feeling of being rejected by the family in some way, misunderstood, like a painful home life, and yeah. And then even with Pluto, because I see what's in the third, but yeah. Um, I mean that from different perspectives, it can create like a very volcanic early home environment. The moon, but like if it's the third house in Placidus, there's two different house systems. Don't worry about what that means unless it's Jen watching. With the third house here, if we're talking Placidus, um, you know, that is someone who needs to really, really, speak a lot. That's someone who needs to have their voice heard, who needs to get their voice out, who needs to and both kids had a little bit of this, right? um yeah. And even Pluto in the third house can create that master, like I don't know whether it's DJing or whatever. Third house Pluto, I had that too, right? In Placidus. And it's like when you get into something, go crazy, like just boom, you can just put in all the fucking effort, like just go wild. So yeah. Um, but then fourth house, that would just speak like a really, difficult childhood. Fourth house though, um, the fourth house moon is actually very interesting. So a lot of times, okay, I'm gonna go back to what I was saying before, right? About the Uranus sun. Because yeah, so a lot of times the fourth house moon goes through like maybe like early on the parents are divorced, so they like get really used to like moving around, and it's very easy for them to accept change and just kind of go with the flow in life. They're not like kind of stuck. They can just kind of go and travel and just like this place and this place and this place and kind of have this like yeah, this real, I don't like using the word gypsy because it's stupid. Um, there's real gypsies out, well, not where I live, but yeah. They don't travel. They don't travel. Um, but yeah, like a lot of times, fourth house moons, like, yeah, they don't have that inner groundness, and they are, always kind of trying to switch up like um the home environment, and they get bored very easily, and even like internally, like whether it's like like kind of like home life, like they just want to switch it up a lot. And moon in the fourth house is really, really good for um living by water. It provides like a lot of satisfaction. And fourth house moons can be really good with real estate or anything with property. That's another thing. I've heard that. um yeah. And sometimes Sag moons view their mothers as like very like independent and fun loving, adventurous, free spirited. All right. Let's see. So okay, so it connects very, very well with Leo, right? So Leo's your sun sign, that's your masculine. is Leo, your feminine is Sag, but both of these are masculine energies, so you're a masculine guy. So Leo, um, it's a fire sign, just like Sag, right? So your sun, your moon, your two, your yin and your yang are in fire. Um, so you're a passionate person. Fire people are, yeah, just like all about action, all about just going, just doing it. They tend to be more extroverted, although your sun's in the 12th house, so that could, and your moon is in Sag, but Pluto's on it, so that it can always be a little bit of both. Um, and let's see the aspect. Neptune. Yeah, okay, yeah. Neptune has two hard ones. But before I go any further, so I'm gonna stand up and give a little walk while I say this. So yeah, basically like people, yeah, like I see it a lot, like the moon opposite Uranus, and it kind of goes along with what I was just saying actually. Um, just that person who their early childhood wasn't it didn't give them the grounded they needed, right? And because of that, they changed residence a lot. Everything I basically just said in a different way, which is still in your chart. Just in a different manner. Now, the fact that both of you siblings have this, right? You guys are born 4 years apart. That is very karmic. That's not a coincidence. So we have to really break down, what does this mean? Um, of course, I gave a lot of details about it earlier. Um, but when I think about it, I think of it, um, I think of it a little bit different, right? Because I think of it as someone who might, or someone's who might go back and forth a lot when it comes to what they're doing with their life and what satisfies them. Um, there's certain people who, can really, really like they can just be given one thing and that's it. It satisfies them, right? They're cool. That's it. Um, I think that, regardless of what parent or where it comes from, I think that you guys, are obviously meant to be, rebellious, very, very different types of people. Um, but I always think with the Uranus opposition, besides the whole thing about like upsetting, like trying so hard to be rebellious that, you're almost like making your decision of A or B just based on like what's gonna piss, the more traditional people off. But I almost think it's like I almost think it it speaks to the need to like just like there's just this need to really experience a lot, especially when young. You guys are still young, like the whole trial and error in life, right? Um, because sometimes with that energy, people can get older and regret a lot. And they can regret a lot and they can think like, oh, what could have been, that kind of thought, right? So Yeah. I think when it comes to life purpose, there can be like a lot of, so this is my main point, right? When it comes to life purpose, there can be like that same energy that I was speaking about with like the home, right? Trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that, like, oh, like having to switch it up, switch it up, switch it up, right? Um, and also identity, right? These two areas can be like that. Um, so the importance is found in essentially getting that shit out of your system when you're young as much as you can, but also just accepting that that's just the way it is, you know? That's just the way it is. And um, you know, the more things you try, like I think it's a gift, right? I think it's a gift. The more things you try, um, the higher the likelihood that you find something that really, lights your fire, right? Whether it's DJing, that's the only thing I know about you. But even if that just plays a certain part for a certain time, like, your midheaven, which rules your career, right? Am I sharing? No. Well, your midheaven is in Gemini. Um, Typical for these types of people to have more than one career. That does not mean I'm saying you're gonna quit DJing. Um, it could be having two at once, right? It could be, you know, um, having, one very important period of time that, like let's say like a 10-year period where you're doing this, and then you're like, all right, I'm good. What's next, right? Sometimes it's like having the money maker and the passion, right? And then with the goal of turning the passion into the money maker. But yeah, you guys are definitely like not meant to be average, and that's dope. All right. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, with the fourth house moon, also last thing I would say, so your sun and your moon are in water houses, so um, that just speaks to, like the karma with your family is very, very deep. Um, very, very deep indeed. And just making sure that there's no resentment. Even if someone has, I felt good like walking around. I don't know. Hold up. I don't know. I feel like I'm like at my best like when I'm hiking or walking. Yeah, so just like making sure that there's no resentments. Of course, like someone screws you over, whether it's someone in your family or um, an ex-lover, whoever it is, friend, it's really rough, right? Um, but at the end of the day, um, these are, these are just poison that, what's the saying? What's the saying? What's the saying, Jesse? Resentments are like poison that we are drinking and hoping that someone else gets sick from them. Is that it? Resentments are, yeah. Resentments are like, having resentments are like us drinking poison and hoping that someone else gets sick from it, right? So it's not that, when someone does you wrong that you have to, you know, that you have to just completely just with just just hug them a million times and be best friends with them. No, not at all. Like, in fact, you know, through that. Um, but to get rid of the hate from your heart, or to get rid of the negative energy that is only within you, right? Um, That's really, really important. And that's something that can be done, and your mom, you know, if that's the case, your mom obviously could help you with that a ton. So yeah, okay, so here we are here. Leo, 12th house, very, very interesting. Stellium. So yeah, Leo, you're a Leo sun. That's, obviously Leo is you're ruled by, your sun's ruled by, or yeah, your sun sign is ruled by the sun, only sign that's ruled by the sun. Um, so it makes that 12th house, very, very important. So this is a really, really, really interesting contrast, and this is actually like a very massive theme for you, because you have these very, very fiery, extroverted energies, right? But then they're in these houses. Houses in astrology represent different areas of life that are very, very, very introspective, right? So a 12th house sun is oftentimes, it's not always the case. Oftentimes they had a weak father, or a father that had a weak influence on them. Although, yeah, it just makes that relationship really important. But like, once again, like, I don't know if your mom was, your son. Like, it's tough to tell. Um, it's tough to tell. But I don't know. Uh, yeah, it's tough to tell. But whatever. Um, the point is this, right? 12th house sun with all the 12th house Mars and Mercury. So this is another thing I see in common with both of y'all, if you Sibs, is that when you have a stellium in the 12th house, you have one or two choices, right? Like, Mars in the 12th house in Leo can be this energy. Let me see the nodes. 23. Is it square anything? 23. No. Okay. Yeah, regardless. So what can happen with, and I've seen this like a lot, right? Mars in the 12th with, Mercury in the 12th, Sun in the 12th, it becomes the house of repressed energies. On a psychological level, when young, these energies are very, very, not crude. They're very, very, they're weak energies, right? Because nothing to do with you being weak, right? These energies, when you're young, they're brand new energies, right? So a lot of times what happens is that people, they're not as strong early in life. They become stronger in time. In fact, they can become like very, very massive parts of that, of that person's, of who that person is, right? But as I said before, they can be, it's the 12th house can be the house to repress energies, because when they're weak energies early on, um, let's say there's just some, let's say like the kid's 8, and there's another 8-year-old, and that 8-year-old says something or does something that makes that kid hide a very, very important part of who he is, right? So this is shown here. So one of them is your sun, which is your identity, right? And as a Leo likes to shine bright. But in the 12th house, that is that's about that's the hidden house, right? That's the house where it's behind the scenes, right? Um, so it is a very interesting combination. And Leo is very much about ego, but at the highest, Leo is about play, and it's about just laughing. It's about creativity, which is awesome. You're a DJ. I don't know if you're a producer or both, or I don't know, whatever. That's dope either way. That's exactly what you want to be doing is a Leo. And if you're traveling doing that stuff, or that's the goal, like that's like literally so dope for your chart. And I'm jealous. Um, but yeah, so a lot of times, like with that 12th house, right? Um, you need to be of service, right? You need to be of service. You need to feel like you're really, really giving back in order to not feel like you're going in these kind of worthless circles, right? Felix. All right, one sec. I need to make sure my cat's in. This little cat's gonna jump around the balcony. Yeah, that's the thing. Um, oh, there we're there. Yeah. So a lot of times people who have like yeah, like Leo energy in the 12th, they they yeah, like they because Leo can be very, very much about the ego. And it's not that you're not supposed to like, be in the ego at all. No. It's just that balance, right? Um, because I've seen so many 12 housers just lose themselves and lose that sense of meaning. And they just go through life, and it's just like it's like they're just going in these circles, and they're just like, what the fuck does anything matter, Um, so yeah, being able to have like and who knows when that comes in your life. Now, Mercury and also Mars in the 12th house, that is self-sabotage. I've seen that a lot, right? I've seen that play out a lot, and it's opposite Neptune. Um, so you have to watch out for substances. I don't know if you're using substances. Um, yeah. Um, that can be just like escapism, and I mean it's a very creative energy, but yeah, Mars Neptune can be poisoning. Um, but let's see here, and then Mercury Neptune. Yeah, so Mars Neptune is exact. Yeah, so Mercury Neptune can give this like potential to be like I don't want to say be gullible, but like yeah, be seduced by other people's ideas. Um and kind of get like kind of like, like take on other people's like thoughts without knowing that you're doing it, right? Like emotions too. Um so that's why like with any 12th houser, alone time, not all the time, and alone time is very important for you, right? Because like a lot of the aspects of your chart is about reconnecting with yourself and your north node. This is one of the most important part in astrology. Your north node represents on a karmic level. I do karmic astrology from past life to past life. It represents where you're trying to get to, the highest potential metaphor. It's like the metaphoric mountain that you're trying to climb in this lifetime, right? So in Cancer in the 11th, you're trying to meet like-minded people that are like your family, friends, groups, have goals, humanitarianism. Uh, in Cancer, it's about um, leaning more into that spiritual relationship with yourself, um, and you know, being able to kind of like tolerate your own failures and kind of overcome any kind of inner pride, right? Um, so Yeah, and like with the South Node in Capricorn, there's lots of past lives where you have to work really really hard for people's respect, right? Um, and you know you're here to like really learn to like express your emotions, um, and nurture yourself and others, with all of this wisdom of wealth that you have, and in doing so, serving humanity, right? Um, yeah, detached service to humanity. Um, so yeah, like 12th house Mercury, like yeah, there's just like that difficulty in like knowing one's own thoughts. Like it's like that osmosis, like super strong imagination, ability to like tap in. So like when you're like in big groups of people, like I always say to people with these charts, like go alone. Like if let's say you have 3 days where you're like you know, uh with like a bunch of people, right? Go alone after, and and then see, journal and see like, okay, like how do I feel? Like what is gone, what's the difference, right? Um, but yeah, very strong imagination with that one for sure. Potential for, yeah, like in your dreams, like being able to communicate in your dreams. So yeah, but the biggest psychological aspect of that one is just like, um, yeah, being in a big room and just like losing like kind of what's your thoughts and what's someone else's, right? Um, and yeah, I've seen the Mars 12th house, just like that sense of personal power being eroded so many times, right? And these like out of nowhere, like it just creates this like this just like I told you, like this like kind of circular, like what the fuck is going on? And then just like these emotional outbursts. Like I like my good friend Andrea, she was dating this dude, and um he had this, right? And like he would just do shit. Like he was a totally chill guy, and then like it wasn't even like he was like a big drinker or anything like that. Like he would just like do these like out of nowhere things, and it would just like completely self-sabotage him, right? And that's, he had like Mars 12th house, right? So the more that you can be of service and feel that connection to like, you know, to the all, God, to whatever you want to call it, right? To the universe. I'm not saying, quit your job for that. It's just like having that in your life is life changing. Mark my words, my friend. Mark my words. Life changing. Like, yeah, with 12th house. Um, okay. So yeah, okay. So Moon, trine Mercury, that's a great one. Really, really good for communication. Yeah, communicating emotions with ease, I guess you could say. Um, and being able to like make decisions based, like from your like Mercury, your mind and your heart, like kind of coming together. Some people really struggle with that. Moon spur Venus. That actually can kind of create a conflict between you know like in relationships, like when it comes to expressing feeling. um Square Venus, yeah. And just like a conflict between like what you value, because your Venus is in Virgo, right? So you value your love language it's about consistency, right? um Venus and Virgo people, they love people um who they know they can count on, like reliability. What's the saying? Reliability, and blah blah blah. Reliability is just very practical, right? Um, Sometimes even like perfectionists, right? When it comes to their lovers. Um, but yeah, they care a lot about reliability, right? Um, yeah, so the fact that that squares the moon inside, those are very, very different energies, right? On one end, your Sag moon in love, right? So like just like with relationships, right? Your Sag moon, um, like us Sag moons, we need a ton of space in relationships, right? Um, we might like every most girlfriends I've ever had have been, um, I mean, I grew up in the U.S. I'm French American, and I live in Romania, and even in the U.S., like most girlfriends I had were not American. Like, yeah. So that's the Sag Moon thing. But like, it's not necessarily like, oh, I have to date someone from a different culture. It's like, no, you want to date someone where you can learn from them and where they have this open mindedness where they can be your adventure buddy. Um, so yeah, that's kind of that there. Um, and yeah, I guess the moon square Venus, they do have issues with like expressing their emotions in relationships. That's true. Um, yeah, I need chapstick. Yeah, so just being able to like, the fact that you have Moon trine Mercury really helps with that, and then you have Moon trine Mars. So, and it's a wow, so this is an exact 0.00 trine. This is a strong one. The Moon trine Mars. Wow. Um, that is someone who is able, like when they get something in their head, they go for it. Like Mars is your action, your assertiveness function. The moon is your emotional needs. It's what makes you feel comfortable. It's your how you live within yourself and your feminine archetype. So um yeah, I mean that just creates someone who's very yeah, very able to kind of motivate, um, just in general, motivate, yeah. Um, and it's very good for self-confidence and for business and for yeah, so many things. Like just going after opportunities that are close to your heart. And good for sports. Yeah. Being able to like rise sports just like being able to rise to any challenge. Okay, moon, so much going on, so they're not so like they're not like really bad ones. Moon opposite Jupiter, that one, it is what it is. It's just like watch out for being overly self-indulgent. That's all I'm gonna say with Jupiter. You know, um don't take too big of risks with shit. Yeah, moderation. I sometimes call like the Jupiter ones like Superman or Superwoman syndrome. Let's see. Yeah, because your Jupiter is in your ninth and placid and tenth in the whole sign. Um, yeah. Hmm. What can I say more about that? I guess what I would say about that is that Jupiter in Gemini is someone who is very, very good at networking, very, very good at learning, who loves to learn, who loves to read, just this constant like search for information, very versatile human. And because it's in the 10th house, it's like the area of life that you really wish to Jupiter makes everything bigger, right? So that you wish to really just grow in is career, right? You really want to find that vehicle through which you can manifest, what you're really about in life, right? Um, so yeah, there is a lot of times with that Jupiter, like a lot of public recognition is possible. It can give like kind of like a larger than life. Now, um, I would say that this is like essentially speaking to the idea that um by you getting through any of this dark stuff, right, with this moon and Pluto and Chiron, right, like the emotional stuff that is very easy to just push away and not deal with, right? Um, that's your reward, right? That's your reward. But by you not working, like, and I don't know anything about you besides very basic, but like if you let's say you were to not work on this, right? You would not it would impede your career, right? The more work you do on like this like really, really deep unconscious childhood emotional, all that stuff, like that is gonna have a direct correlation to your career. Okay. So here's a tough one. Moon opposite Saturn. Um, and then also Venus is square. So yeah. So Moon opposite Saturn. That's a tough one. Yeah, like where is it? Yeah, 29-4. Um, so yeah, people with that can feel very like even with like the Sag moon, which is like the most like one of the most out there moons, fun. Um, yeah, like Saturn, Saturn opposite moon is really tough, and it can bring melancholy. It can make one feel unlovable. It can make one feel like really, really like lots of difficulty with being able to connect with people on like a deep, authentic level. Um, it can create like a level of like emotional coldness, especially from one parent. So the moon, I don't know. I don't like to like say this parent, that parent, right? Some people times when people hear the readings, they know like if there is one that it's talking about. Um, yeah, but that's not my style of astrology. So yeah, a lot of times moon opposite Saturn is just like one of the parents was like quite cold, quite strict. Um, and sometimes like as an adult, they'll attract like more like withdrawn, cold partners. And yeah, just like building your own self-esteem is the key. And it gets, it all gets easier um as you mature and as you hit your Saturn return, which you got a minute for that. That's when you're 30, but um you know, that's not saying that, like, you know, you're not like, um you're screwed until your Saturn return. Not at all. No. It just means that, you know, with Saturn in your chart, it just things get a lot easier karmically, and you're meant to go through different karmic, you know, I can't speak English. Trials and tribulations. Yeah. Um. Okay, so here's some really cool ones. Moon sextile Neptune, 0.03. So that's a gift. That's someone who can uh, I don't like to use the word psychic because I think that there's very, very, very few people in the world who have that. I have seen it. Um, but I think that the majority of people who claim that, well, some people have it in different ways, but like full on, yeah, only a few. But you know, just let's say, like, in terms of like artistic, like like intuitive ability, right? Like, you know, like just being able to like look at someone and know something, right? Um, let's say, let's say what else? Yeah, just like really, really good for spirituality, meditation. It makes all like this whole world like very, very like something very accessible for you that might feel like home. And it gives like a natural, very artistic and abstract ability in the mind, and in the heart as well. So Pluto, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, just like how it's just very, yeah, intense emotions, lots of highs and lows. That's the other thing I really mentioned, like Moon with your Pluto, lots of highs and lows, and the fact that Saturn's there can be really frustrating and make one feel isolated. So having, yeah, like creative outlets is so massive. Yeah, and then yeah, like having like yeah, the outlets are so huge. And yeah, Chiron, we talked about that. Okay, so Sun, we talked about that one. Sun, so Sun is actually trine Chiron and Pluto. So that's actually a nice one. Sun trine Pluto creates someone who can be a healer, have a healing effect on other people. Very empathetic, very naturally understanding, good at listening, understanding people's pain, and yeah, just like a healing kind of vibe to them. And then with Pluto, that just gives like a super strong leader, someone who can be very powerful. Like, yes, you need to have time alone. Yes, you need to, like, it's so important for you to choose the right people to be around, right? So fucking important, right? Um, so important. But, you know, you do have this real leadership potential, ability, and ability to really, really, really just dial in when you're into something, you know. Um, yeah. So yeah, some Pluto, yeah, they know when to be, uh, yeah, they kind of know when to be diplomats and when to be when to kind of like be more like what's the word, assertive. Um, okay, so yeah, I mean Mercury is with Mars. That's just like um someone who's a very good speaker, powerful speaker. Even though, you know, Saturn. with the moon can make one quite shy. Yeah, it makes someone really enjoy like the thought-provoking discussions. And yeah, it's the 12th house, so like you know, all things spiritual, all things hidden in the world are, very, very, they can have a great impact on you, and really help you. Um, and like I said, you're multi-talented. You could have, two different careers. I have so many different clients who have the midheaven in Gemini, and yeah, they have the moneymaker and the passion. Like it's the thing I found. Okay. So your rising sign. So we talked about, your sun, so there's the big three is the rising, right? It's like the egg. If you're an egg, it's the shell, the personality. Yours is Virgo. And then the white is the sun, right? Your Leo, and then the yolk is your moon, right? So the white and the yolk get along very well. They're very in sync. Now the outside is very, very different, but not so bad. Not like to where it's like detrimental. It just it's gonna make it definitely will make, like having Virgo rising. Virgo rising people tend to notice everything. They tend to be the types of people who are just very consistent. Sometimes they're too perfectionist and too hard on themselves. Um, and yeah, they just really need to they yeah, what am I saying? It makes Mercury rule the chart. So, Mercury obviously in the 12th house. So a lot of times Mercury ruled charts tend to stay looking young, which is obviously dope. Um, and like even when they get older. And yeah, like it's just like really, really important to not be overly self-critical, because that can project outwards. So if each day is on a scale of 0 to 100, you, like, let's say like one day is a 40. Cool. You know, self-compassion is what you learn in Buddhism, right? About self-compassion. Next day you get an 80. Dope. Next day's a 60. Cool. Next day's a 10. You have shit. Whatever. Maybe you needed a rest, right? It's getting out of this like American idea that like you have to just do. It's like you fuck up at all, um, you know, you suck, right? No, that's not how it is. And the best artists in the world just chill, you know? Like, yeah, like they're go-getters, but like, you know, they're 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 laid back, they're laid back, and they let the inspiration come to them. So yeah. But I think a great way with the Virgo rising is to use that organizational abilities and that ability to know, okay, I need to do this and then this and then this and then this and then this to get to my goal. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people just have these lofty dreams and ideals and then just give up, right? So for you, you have like you can use that Virgo, but just not be perfectionist and mean to yourself and mean to other people. All right. So where we at? Where we at? Yeah. So Mercury opposite Neptune. Yeah. So we already kind of talked about this. Yeah. That could be gullible for sure. Um, there can be this very abstract understanding of the world. But there can be this confusion, right? Um, So it's like they can understand people with that can understand the most amazing abstract concepts, but then when it comes to like the very basics of language, they can struggle, and their imagination can be too vivid, right? Um, so yeah. Also, it can be difficult to like filter out like the background noise, um, like an oversensitivity. I have this. I have a not this, but like I have like a sensory deficit disorder. I grew up with that. Um, Difficulty with like filtering out all of like just so much coming in, right? So, being in the right environment is really important. And yeah. And I think like such a huge part of your chart is to just not allow other people to tell you, like what's cool and what's not. Because I feel like you're a dope kid, and um, I don't know. This came to me like I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's a very strong chart. I don't know. So yeah, just like being able to like a lot of celebrities, have this. Um, so it's very, very good for music actually. Very, very good for music. Um, Also writing and anything artistic. But sometimes, when it comes to relationships, it's really important to like ask a friend, like let's say what's an example? Like let's say the girl you're talking to says so how are so what's up? And she's literally just saying like so what's up, but then you get into your head about like all this like oh it means this, it means that, or like I don't know, it's a horrible example, but like so just being able to have friends that you can like, or like in relationships, like someone like to have that solid communication. One thing that sounds cheesy but it works is they just be like, hey, actually shit, um to be like, look, um sometimes I have issues with understanding. No, that sucks too. Sometimes I have issues with um understanding what you're trying to say, and no, your mom can help you with that. Um, but the point is to just like to be very, very just yo, like this is what I like I like you. Um, like this is like what X is what I understood. Like is like I'm sorry, but can you like please help me understand what you meant? It's just a little bit confusing for me. And girls like that, bro. Like they really do. They really do. Like they like when, I mean, that shows a level of confidence to be able to just be like, to admit that. Um okay. So Venus, yeah. Venus, uh first house, very, very good. Also, if you want to have it 12th house in classes, that's like, very good for spiritual protection. And yeah, so we have it square Jupiter and square Saturn. So what? Yes. Yeah. Get the cats inside too. Get the cats in. So where was I? So yeah, so with the Venus, yeah, Venus first, usually good looking, good charm if it's a guy. Um, but yeah, so Venus square Jupiter can be a little bit, it's not like a bad aspect. It can be a little bit like too extravagant, I guess you could say. Getting kind of, can you turn one of those lights on, please? Like that one, like the, no, 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 no. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Venus, yeah, square Jupiter. Just yeah, like once again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like when the going gets tough, sometimes people with that and like other things in their chart, like you've had in like greener pastures, that kind of thing, right? They can like the grass is green on their side. So let's say you're in a relationship and you're like, oh, I want to know what it's like to be single, right? And then you know lose a great girl, and then the other girls suck. I don't know. That's the first example that came to my head. Okay, then Venus square. So we're getting close here. So Venus square um Saturn. Let me get chapstick. So yeah, Venus square Saturn. After Saturn was also square the moon. Um, so that's interesting because that's a T square and it shoots out at two Pisces by the vertex. Interesting. So seventh house. So this interesting. So this is healed through relationships. And in particular, very, 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 very I don't want to say spiritual relationships, but very um I swear I'm gonna like forget English. I speak a lot of languages, and what's what I'm looking for? Not selfless, whatever. I guess we can say selfless. Yeah, just like very selfless relationship. Yeah, Venus for Saturn. A lot of times it can make it difficult to feel. Yeah, like to express the feelings. You know, emotional disputes can be really like run away from that. Um, so yeah, just overall like being assertive in relationships is really hard. Um, and a lot of times it starts with the parents. Um, with your relationship with them, and yeah, over time. So it's interesting that both of you two, one, you know, had Venus conjunct Saturn, Lillian, and then Christian has Venus square Saturn. You see how this happens? Crazy. So they're both it could be like both of you guys are here to have like very committed relationships, but it could be yeah, it could be like post 30. I don't want to like that just sounds bad. Like I guess what I'm saying is that it's not that you're not going to have relationships. It's that it could be lots of lessons in love for both of you, and that's a big part of both of your karma that you guys share together. So you guys could probably, you know, there's two things already or three things that you guys have in common. So, um, okay, yeah. So Mars. Hold up. Let me. Okay. Yeah, also like sixth house Uranus. Yo, this is so dope. Okay, this is so cool. Okay, so by the way, like I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with electronic music my whole life. Like my whole life. Um, I go to like so many shows all over the world. I'm like, I love it. I'm not like one of these people who just, got into it when it was cool. Like I'm French. I've been into it. Um, so I always said like if I ever got into DJing, I would have been a killer. And me and you both have Uranus in the sixth house. Um, which is so interesting, right? Because that means that we have it in the fifth house in Placidus, and Uranus rules electronics, right? And it just basically speaks to us loving, like like music that has Uranian influences, which is electronic music, right? So I thought that was really cool. Um, and yeah, also Uranus sixth house people, and okay, so Neptune sixth house, Uranus sixth house, you would hate to work, and I have the same thing, right? You would hate to have a job with a boss. Like people who have that, like they just cannot do it. Like they just can't. Like the Neptune the sixth house, like it's just like they just feel like they are just like, oh my God, they have so much difficulty coping with everyday life. Um, and but they can also be really, really good at being of service to other people, right? And then Uranus, so sixth house Uranus, that gives you a really like weird or eccentric approach to everyday life. Example, me, I have this, right? I go to bed so fucking late, excuse my language, so late, right? Um, I don't give a shit, I just know that I come alive at night. Um, so it really is about finding what works for you. It might not be like it is for everyone else, right? You live in the US, and it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And there's a lot of brainwashing and a lot of saying, do this, do that. But that doesn't mean that um that works for you, for everyone. So um yeah, yeah. Also, it can give you a very, I don't know if you're into pets, but it can give you a very deep spiritual relationship with your pets. And Uranus can kind of make you keep very like unusual pets. Um, so yeah. Um, Entrepreneurship is definitely like something like career, something that really, really keeps you like going, something that really, really like is fun. And go, yeah, we're able to go with the flow with it. And meet people, right? And meet people that you really like feel like family to you. All right, so let's see what else, what else. Okay, yeah. So huge one. So we'll talk about these two for so yeah, Mars is also trine Pluto and Chiron. Um, so Mars trine so yeah, Mars trine Chiron, that's just another like kind of like the gift of being able to like speak up on the behalf of like less powerful people and really have people's back. It's a really beautiful placement. And really like use the energy to like help um heal or teach humanity. Yeah, it's great. I love that placement. Mars trine Chiron. So yeah. And then okay, so then the other one was what? Pluto. Okay, this is a lot of professional athletes have this. or just really, really good athletes. Mars trine Pluto, super high physical energy level. And yeah, like just like a need to but it's not like a square or something like your sister has a square where she needs to get that shit out. For you, you know, it's just a high energy level, but it's not necessarily one that like leads to violence. Like it could be with Mars with some of your sister's astrology. Um Hold on. But yeah, just like lots of goal directed energy, lots of courage, endless energy supply. Um, yeah. Okay. So last one we'll talk about here before I just see what's up with these other, like, if there's any, wait, what's this? Oh, yeah, Saturn Trinus. Um, no, you have Uranus trine midheaven. So that's awesome. So that really, really speaks again about how much you want the freedom to express your own unique ideas and your own unique self in your career, in your dharma, right? And really make like a very individual, unique, like you, like so authentic to you contribution to society, right? And just like that Uranus trying the midheavens, just like that love for change and for variety. Um, So yeah, like there could be different career changes, but the try would say that they're gonna be nice. Like it's not gonna be like losing a job and sad. It's gonna be like, oh, a better opportunity comes up. Sick. Um, okay, so yeah, so Mars opposite um Neptune. This is such a close one. It's .0.003. Um, so yeah, Mars opposite Neptune, as I said, that's the one about substances. But really it's just like it creates it can create issues with boundaries, and it just restates the need to have those super strong boundaries. Um so yeah. Um Um, I think that like having like really, really being careful of who you surround yourself with is so important. Because the wrong people, like the energy vampire types, right? The people that like are, seem cool on the outside, but then they're really just like assholes. Um, yeah, you gotta stay away from them. Um, but thinking about something I can't. My brain has frozen. It's like a what else can I say about that one? Mars opposite Neptune. Yeah, okay. I guess it's like Mars is like our will to move forward. It's already in the 12th house, right? So it's already so it doesn't actually really change that much of like the theme because your Mars is already in the 12th house. I think this is all about service, to be honest, right? Because like Mars in the 12th, we talked about how, if it's all about ego, you know, like Leo Mars is all about the ego, blah blah blah. Like shit doesn't happen. And and then there's that frustration. But the opposite with Neptune, the Neptune sixth house, that's the part of your chart where I said, that's where you need to understand that the everyday life, the routine, the going to that office building is not going to work for you. Like not to say you cannot possibly do it, but it's really tough. Like I've been there. Like I've had jobs like that, and it was fucking hard. Um, it was really, really, really demoralizing, like sales jobs and stuff. Um, so yeah, I just think like um this is just like the ultimate, like, you need to be of service in some way in your life, and that will open everything up. Um and really watch out for the psychic vampires, energetic vampires that take advantage of you, drain your energy. Um you're a sweet person. I can tell by the chart. Um and yeah, like so sometimes people with this, they have issues with self-confidence. And they can, yeah, like that brings up like the whole drugs and sexuality also is another component of that. So yeah, it can make confidence really difficult, right? Um, yeah, and make it, yeah, confidence and like approaching and like that kind of stuff difficult. But when you're a service, it literally fixes all of this. It's magic, I swear. But yeah, it just makes you like, yeah, very, very caring. Someone who, um, yeah, who really cares about the plights of the less fortunate. Um, and yeah, okay, let's see this. So Sirius is in the second in Libra. Yeah, you just love that atmosphere of peace and beauty and just, yeah, that's great. Um, is it burning? I need to turn my brightness down. Okay, let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, so Palace of Virgo, very, very analytical mind. And yeah, just like the fact that it's rising, um, just gives you this ability to really, really be this planner. It's almost like this chess player, in the sense of like, like seeing life like a game of chess. Um, and yeah, Palace first house, just like yeah, just yeah, being able to express yourself as I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. You know, as this person that yeah, like I already said it, that just like sees the big picture and just like sees moves ahead, right? And that, yeah, with that analytical Virgo palace. Um, okay, so I think that's everything, right? Besides the No, no, no. Okay, Saturn ninth house. So you might, after 30, become really interested in truth, in like a really, really finding truth. It could even a lot of astrologers and people who do things like similar to what I do have ninth house Saturns, and they spend their first 30 years not just being like, fuck this, like, nah, 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 nah. Like, trust me, I was like that before, you know? Um, like I wasn't anti, but my mom was like, in shamanism, like she was doing that thing. I was just like, I was just like a party, a party guy. Um, and like time went on and things just happened, and it really, I want you to leave you with this. It's like uh Pluto asks us, do we what does the ego want and what does the soul need, right? Remember that. Yeah, because a lot of times Saturday night paths feel like restricted and like exploring the meaning of life until they mount like a serious investigation, maybe like post 30 or something. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, even like Pluto where it is, yeah, like that could have been like a really volcanic childhood, potentially traumatic. Although it has really good aspects, so I kind of doubt that. I mean, I don't know. I think there's probably aspects of it, but it is far enough from the IC. So maybe it was with siblings. Maybe things were crazy with siblings. I don't know. Black Lilith and Capricorn. That's just like the dark side. Like okay, best thing Capricorn actually. South in Capricorn, like you are a go getter, past life go getter. Um, you know, in this life, you're meant to like like be a team. Find that tribe of people that really you really connect with, and not just always have to do things on your own, and be number one, right? Because that's the Black Lilith in Capricorn is like the need, like always having to like be number one and all that shit, you know. Um, and like also just like not like trusting other people, right? Like not being willing to yeah. And I would say like control, like trying to like control situations too much, like feel empowered. Um so yeah. So yeah, really, really like allowing other people to take the lead and delegate and yeah, just forming that teamwork. Super important. Um yeah, Vesta there is awesome. That's just someone who can really have great discipline, ambition, success, and Vesta fifth house. It could mean that you like, yeah, you're a DJ, like that you like to work on, and so many DJs are Capricorn, right? So, um, yeah, like Vesta fifth house is like your focus, yeah, can be on like the creative projects that you have, right? So yeah, really liking to have work that's just fun, you know. And yeah, part of fortune in the fifth in Capricorn too, so that's like your flow state. Um, um, yeah, like just like that's your best fifth house, like for you, like creativity equals joy, you know. When you're just creating, when you're just having fun and just living life and just letting go, like in that high vibe Leo, just like making people laugh, being generous, all that, you're just killing it, you're loving it, and things come to you. In Capricorn, it's like when you're doing that, but at the same time, um, you're building that firm sense of like um of inner worth, right? Through that, right? Kind of like at the same time. Um and also getting past any of those like emotional insecurities or issues. The last thing I'll say, like on like the romantic thing, you could very well be yeah, I said with with the Leo, obviously like the 12th house, just you know, um and like with the Sag, the Sag, like you need an adventure buddy, but you also need someone that you can like, when things get serious, that you can like express yourself to. Now you have no water in your chart, but the fact that you have so water is like the really intense, like emotional energy, right? But your North Node, right, is in water, right? It's in Cancer. Like North Node, the metaphoric mountain never climbs. So you're trying to get deeper with your emotions in this lifetime, even though you don't have that much of that energy there, right? No Scorpio, Pisces, there's no personal planets, and uh, Cancer, there's only North Node, which isn't a planet. So, but Pluto here, right? So I think like it could be very beneficial. I don't like to say like, this sign. It's, any people can work or not work. But I would say like yeah, just like this create can create that kind of like up and downness with emotions. So yeah, having someone that's able to go deep when needed, but also be adventurous, right? But not just like only fun, fun, fun. And then Juno, so Juno is like your ideal partner with Uranus. We're just about done. Um, that is the ultimate placement into the Aquarius. Yeah, of someone who is in the sixth house. So, it's the ultimate placement um of someone who needs a ton of space and freedom in relationships and does not want this normal like the same relationship that everyone else has. Um, like I have a relationship, like I don't believe in sleeping in the same rooms. I don't believe in like I want my own space. Like I want to do so much shit on my own. And like I make the rules. And like um, if 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 it works, it works. So it's all about figuring out like what you need, what works for you, and then you know like a lot of people, and that's not for everyone, but it's just an example because a lot of people think that they have to like you know fit into this societal box, right? um and like yeah, June and Aquarius, like yeah, they can be yeah, just very non-traditional relationship. uh so yeah. And also yeah, just like not losing yourself in the relationship, because like two people can like form one and then they just lose themselves, so it's really important to not lose yourself. And June the 6th, yeah, I mean like someone who's like on the day to day with you, like I don't know, chores and kind of like a some like a um yeah, where like the day to day just kind of works, and it doesn't have to be like you guys doing everything together. Okay, last thing I'm looking at. I went crazy on this reading. Yeah, I'm on 48. All right, what's up with this? The nebula close to the rising. So yeah, uh, Christian could be someone who gets very interested in the esoteric occult one day. Who knows? Or the mysteries of the world. All right, I'm looking for something. Okay. Mm-mm. No way. That's not anything. See. If you could see what I'm looking at right now, I guess I can share it for a second. I have to like figure out like what is what. I've gotten good at it. Also, Vertex and Pisces seventh house, like you can have like your doorway to higher awareness can be through like very, very beautiful relationships. Marcab. Yeah, very, very like beautiful, like spiritual relationships. And also, no, actually, it's sixth house in Placidus. So yeah, actually, I would say more around being of service in a very like your doorway to higher awareness comes when you are of service. As I've said so many times, doesn't have to be your job, but trust me. When you stop, I'm not saying you do, but when you're, when you go from thinking of, okay, what is my physical, like, how am I touching people on the physical level? How am I touching people? Like, what's my metaphysical versus physical footprint on people? That's the best way of thinking. And I'm not saying like only do metaphysical, right? Because like making an amazing song, like shit, like I listen to so much. Uh, like Armin is like my favorite ever by far. But I listen to a lot of new stuff. I listen to a ton of different genres, but um, Armin, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it. I gotta stop myself from getting better. It's my eyes. Okay, here we are. Okay, so you have a wealth star. So you have one of the stars that is all about wealth, Capella, on your midheaven exact degree. So you could be very wealthy. I forget who was it. Is it Bill Gates who has that? Like, there's a lot of very the fixed stars are very like it's only really close conjunctions. Okay, we're just about over. Um, yeah. So Psyche is with Jupiter, so that just gives you like that, and a more like it's yeah 6 6 7. Yeah. So Amor and Psyche, two of my favorite asteroids. Like you have like this amazing ability to like see through the bottom of just like really understanding um you know kind of getting to the bottom of things on a psychological level, and then a more with Jupiter that gives you this amazing level of unconditional love. um Hold up though, just 1 second. Because was was uh was that one, see how hard that was to see. um I just wanna look at one thing real quick just to make sure, because this is like a perfect reading in the sense of like I've gone crazy. So if I'm going crazy, I might as well. You have no idea how amazing your mom is. She's like one of my favorite people ever. Literally, like I'm not just saying that. She's the best. You're so fucking lucky. Like so lucky. Okay, so yeah, so I would say like yeah, I don't know. I would say that Psyche and Gemini in the 10th, um, it's just speaking out the soul's longing for really making a difference, and really getting into the world, um and understanding things, on a deeper level. Where the fuck is that one? It's so hard to find. These are like the cherries on top, but it's so hard to find information on them. Um, Although I think I have a whole thing here. Oh, here it is. Okay, there it is. Psyche conjunct Jupiter makes a good administrator, businessman, philosopher, teacher of spiritual pursuits, and knowledgeable about languages and their origins. That's another way of looking at it. And is there anything with midheaven? And yeah, and then like a more with Jupiter that just gives like, yeah, that universal love, that ability to just like to like have unconditional love for the world and for people, to see that when they look at you. So like I could see you being like a public figure, like for real, for real. Like I never say that. Um, especially if you're authentic, especially if you listen to my advice, um, about, you know, just doing good things, you know, and just seeing what happens. Like no one needs to like really know about it. Um, if you ever, you know, if you ever want to ask me any questions, feel free to reach out. It's at Jessiness and Astro. It doesn't have to be about anything. Be happy to answer. Well, actually, you should probably email me because I don't. My DMs are too wild. But it's Jessiness and astrology at gmail.com. And yeah. But anyways, this has been a very special reading. I hope you enjoyed. And I don't even know who's watching this. But thank you. 2 hours, but I don't know. Something felt special about this one. So, yeah. Love you, Jen. You're the best. Thank you so much for all you've done for me, um, through the tough times. And I hope that these readings find your children well. I hope that they're able to watch them. I hope that they're able to sit through all of them. Especially the one I just did. This one was one of my best ones in a while. So, all right. Ciao, guys.